Hey everybody, NW Order for Life here with Parasyte The Maxim episode 5 review. Episode starts off with a woman and a man in a car driving somewhere. The woman is a parasite. The man is, like talking to her or whatever because the parasite can't figure out what to do with the seatbelt, and he crashes into a railing. He almost dies. Well, he is saved by the seatbelt, and the female body that the parasite was inhabiting was almost dead, and parasite had to leave and try to, get inside the man, and it can't control the man. Like it's incompatible with his sex organs and is only compatible with the female body. So because of that, um, the parasite has to search for a female body, like basically dragging the male body around because it can't control it properly, but it can control it just enough to move it to a destination where there'll be a female body. And then Shinichi's friend, the guy is getting beaten up by a bunch of bullies, or I don't know if they're bullies, but they're guys that have a problem with him in an alley. Shinichi steps up to help his friend out, and pretty much gets punched a couple times, kicked a couple of times. And there's this girl there named Kanna, and she's just like, she's a part of this little gang, and she's standing there, and she's like feeling sorry for Shinichi, and we don't really know why this guy's getting beat up, if it's because of Kanna or if Kanna's just hanging out with these other guys that are beating him up. But Migi is asleep, so he's not doing anything at this point. And then who appears? Something happens where the guys. I think just Kanna said, yeah. Kanna says that like it's too pathetic to beat him up, and the guys beating him up, just leave him and the other guy and his friend alone. And they go back to school, and there's like this group of school, like I guess a gang in school. Shinichi's friend is friends with them, and they're like, "Oh, we got your back. Don't worry about it next time." And then, like, when Kanna before that looked at Shinichi's eyes on the floor, she saw something inside of him, um, parasite related, obviously, because of later on in the episode, Miki says she can sense parasites or his kind. Um, but she sensed something and she freaked out, and she felt like danger in his eyes or whatever. And now this guy that was with Kanna, and he was a part of the gang that was beating up Shinichi's friend, and then hit Shinichi a couple times. He is kind of pissed off at Shinichi for like interfering and for acting like a hero, calling him like a poser, and he goes and gets two of his buddies and kidnaps Murano, Shinichi's girlfriend, and starts to, um, you know, when Shinichi goes to get her back, they start beating him up, and Shinichi's begging Migi quietly not to get involved. Migi's gonna almost kill them, and then Kanna comes and pretty much like says like, stop it, don't do this. But she's very calm. She's not like a girl, like a whiny crying girl, nothing. She's just very calm, saying this is stupid. And then all of a sudden, the group of Shinichi's friend and that whole entire gang that he's with, and from school, they pop up, and then they start fighting with this guy and his two friends. And Shinichi and Murano get away, and then she spends time with him in his house, healing him up. She He asks her how does she feel about him, in terms of like, does she think, yeah, like she says, like, he asks her, do you think I'm not normal? And she says, you're not normal, but you know like, I forget what she said, but she basically said good things about him, and she put her head on his shoulder, and she was all happy and content. And then he actually asked her to stay over, which is kind of amazing that Shinichi had the balls to do that when, as far as we know, they haven't even kissed. But he said, do you want to stay over? And Murano just goes, no, I'm going home, like in a happy way. So maybe Shinichi and Murano were thinking like stay over in terms of, you know, just hang out in the house, or maybe the subs just translated wrong. I'm not sure. But yeah, and then we see, and we get all throughout the episode that Shinichi's struggling with this concept. Is he human? He is human. He wants to believe he's human, but Migi said before that Ryoko saw that Migi and Shinichi are like fusing with their DNA, and it's possible that Shinichi's brain is going to change because of it, like his whole mental, psychological level. And Shinichi doesn't want Shinichi doesn't want to hear any of that. He just wants to be a normal human, and he just doesn't want to consider himself a monster. So then we see Shinichi's parents looking at a beautiful sunset, and then the man with the parasite in the head, in the beginning of the episode, the woman parasite that went to the male body that is looking for a female body, it takes her head off in a second, and the husband is looking shocked as he just sees her head fly off. And then we see Shinichi and Migi talking again, and then Shinichi gets a phone call from his dad, who's bleeding in a telephone booth, saying it was a monster. I forgot, he's going to go to the police, and he faints. Then Shinichi and Migi are worried, and they're freaking out. Oh, I also forgot to mention that Kanna visited Shinichi, and Shinichi shook her hand, and Migi said, "You gotta be careful about her because she can sense my kind." So like somehow she's way more perceptive than even Murano. Like Murano can kind of tell something's up, but he's like, this girl is totally perceptive, and you gotta stay away from her. And anyway, so now back to Shinichi and Migi, talking. Shinichi's yelling at Migi because he says, "It's your fault. You told me to let them go because you said they'd be safer there." And Migi's like, "Well, there was a calculated, that they would be safer." And he's like, "Shut up!" And he's all freaking out. And then all of a sudden, the door, or rather, Migi senses that one of his kind is approaching. Shinichi grabs a knife, and the door opens, unlocks, and Shinichi's mother walks in. And Shinichi's mother is talking like the parasite, and she's saying, "So the man didn't come back, and like you've taken over his right hand, like why? So it's a failure, It's like, and like as she's talking like this, Shinichi's just like, "Mom, mom, mom, you're home. This hand, it's. I know it's strange, but I can explain." And Migi's like, "Shinichi, it's not her." He's like, "Shut up, it's her, it's her." And he's like, "I'll cut you right off, you monster." He's like, "Right, mom, right, mom." And he's just like, he can't take it. He's having a mental breakdown. He knows that that's not his mother. I mean, everything says it's not his mother. The fact that she's talking the way she's talking, the fact that she's, that Migi has sensed it before she even got there, etc. And then her head just splits into like the tentacle, tendril, scythe-like, stuff, and just right through his chest, like just impales him. And that's how the episode ends. And we can assume that Shinichi is not going to die because there's another episode coming up, and it says like something like the sun set again or something like that, like the sun rises again or something like the next episode. So yeah, excuse me, my throat is really dry. Overall, a really good episode. Psychologically, it hits you on an emotional level when you see what Shinichi was going through with his mother. Even though you can say, yeah, he was stupid, yeah, he just was making all that mistakes or whatever. But it's just like you can understand how you feel that way about your mom. You don't want to accept the fact that your mom was murdered and that what you're standing in front of you is an imposter. It's just psychological. And Migi, pointing out that Shinichi is changing. That's confirmation that he's fusing with Migi, the DNA, and that the brain is changing inside of him. And this new girl, Kanna, she is really cool. She's probably going to like Shinichi because she seems to be interested in him, and she's definitely curious about. She's definitely curious about what's going on with his right hand because she sensed something from it, and she saw danger in his eyes. So she's a great character that was introduced, and yeah, some good action, some plot twist, and some drama. Great episode. I give it an 8 out of 10. So thanks for watching this review of Parasyte The Maxim episode 5. Be sure to rate the video and comment below about the characters, story, anything that went on the episode, and I'll respond in kind if anyone does. And please subscribe to my videos for more videos in the future. So thanks, and have a nice night.